Is Obamacare making a return to the campaign trail, with health plan choices shrinking and premiums soaring ahead of November's open enrollment period? The controversial Affordable Care Act may be a defining issue in some key Senate races this fall. Here's an ad running in Arizona, where Republican Senator John McCain is locked in a tight race with Democratic Congresswoman Ann Kirkpatrick.
Obamacare is failing Arizonans. First, a massive rate hike, more than twice the national average. Then, America's largest health insurer abandoned Arizona's failing Obamacare exchange. That's devastating, especially to rural counties. Congresswoman Ann Kirkpatrick bragged about her Obamacare vote, saying,
"It's also the one I'm most proud about."
While Kirkpatrick's proud of putting us at risk, John McCain is leading the fight to stop Obamacare.
All right, Joe, no doubt about where McCain thinks he can win on that. That's between now and November, what new are we likely to learn about the Affordable Care Act?
Well, we'll get final premium rate increases. Right now, they're just submissions to state regulators. It's about 18 to 22% on average nationally.
For 1 year?
That's for 1 year. You had a McKinsey study this week saying that the average lowest rate increase is going to be 11%. So you're really having some serious problems with these exchanges. And I think healthcare has receded a bit in recent years as a political issue because Republicans can't do anything about it as long as President Obama is in office. Now that's changing, and I think it's reemerging as a real flashpoint in this election.
What about the choices? Because there's a new Kaiser study showing that 31% of the counties in the United States are now only going to have one insurer in the Obamacare exchanges. Is this lack of choice becoming an issue?
Yeah, I think it is. In Arizona, for example, there's several counties where there are zero insurers selling any kind of Obamacare policies. You've got a big withdrawal of the major insurers. It's really down to kind of Medicaid contractors who are selling these plans, low quality, very narrow network of doctors and hospitals, and just not what people have come to expect from normal private insurance. So it's becoming an issue in people's lives, and that naturally comes into politics.
Mary.
Well, I mean, I think you mentioned the 31% of the counties in the United States. Another statistic that came out of that same study is that almost 60% of the counties will only have two insurers. So, as Joe was mentioning, the withdrawal of these companies which can't make money in these places because of the rules in the Obamacare is leaving Americans with very little choice. And of course, when you don't have choice, that pushes up prices.
Kim, on the politics of this, for example, in the Indiana race, Chuck Schumer, the Democrat, recruited Evan Bayh to run in Indiana, thinking he would have a pretty free run. But Evan Bayh voted for Obamacare and decided not to run in 2010 when that was such a contentious issue. But now that vote he made back then is going to come back here and become an issue. Are Republicans ready to make that an issue?
Yeah, well, his competitor out there, Todd Young, is already hitting him on this, talking about how he was a deciding vote for Obamacare back in 2010, trying to make him responsible for that vote, and talking up his own reform alternatives to Obamacare. You've seen this play out in several states where there are people in Wisconsin, for instance. Russ Feingold was one who voted for Obamacare. Right. Out in Colorado, Michael Bennet was one who voted for Obamacare. The competitors are definitely trying to hold their feet to the fire on that and think that it could be a defining issue. What's also notable about the Senate races, too, Paul, is that aside from actually having some Democrats who voted for the bill, it so happens that some of the states that are being worst hit by the law, like Arizona, like North Carolina, just happen to be places where there are very competitive Senate races. And you are seeing the Republicans that really move to aggressively attempt to make it a defining issue.
All right, Kim. So how are the Democrats responding to this? Because a lot of them once had thought, well, this would be a great, like most entitlements, this would work for us down the road. Are they defending it? Are they saying, like Andrew Patrick, it's the proudest vote I made, or are they walking away from it?
Some of them are walking away from it. What you're beginning to see, like what just happened down in Florida, too, is a lot of pressure on Democrats to say what they would do. And I'm not really sure this is going to work for them. So like down in Florida, for instance, Patrick Murphy, who's the Democrat running against Marco Rubio, his solution for what you would do is he said, well, we need a public option.
Right. That's where they're falling out.
Yes, and that's where a number of them, and Hillary Clinton has said that as well, too. I don't think that necessarily helps them. Republicans are saying, look, you're going to make a bad situation worse, and they're really jumping on that as an aggressive, offensive way, too.
The public option, is that the savior for the Democrats, James?
More government control. There was a
huge I'm sorry, pardon the interruption, huge step towards national health care if it passed.
Right, a disaster. And Obamacare has already run kind of public option light. We got those evil private corporations out of the business. They ran these co-ops. They have failed all over the country. You took away the profit motive. Patients didn't benefit. Taxpayers obviously didn't either. I think it's hard to call this a sleeper issue because obviously its failures are manifest, but it is a problem. And you look at Russ Feingold in Wisconsin. He has spent years pretending that it's working. It's not. It's a problem for him.
All right. Thank you all. Still ahead this Labor Day weekend to look at the state of the American economy and some disturbing new data about the plight of working age men in America.